Welcome into another episode of Three's a Crowd. Once again, I'm your host, Preston Vargas. And before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, the NFL playoffs are here. We're going to make our predictions later on in the show. But we also got a bracket challenge group. That link will be in the description below, and I'll put a post on this channel later. But first, let's get into the other playoff, the college football playoff semifinals, which we were on the call for. The Miami Ole Miss game. Carson Beck led the Canes to victory, single-handedly on his back after Miami gets a couple miscues in the fourth quarter, leading to an Ole Miss go-ahead touchdown. But then Carson Beck, he won our Three's a Crowd Player of the game last night. Let's take a look at his final stats: 268 yards and three total touchdowns. He did have that interception in the red zone, which Ole Miss capitalized on it, scoring on the next drive, but still, it wasn't enough as Miami pulled out the victory. Trinidad Chambliss hit 277 yards. And I want to give a shout out to Malachi Tony. Getting open, he took a few hits earlier in the game. In fact, he came out of the game earlier, but came back to return. Made a crucial wide open reception to put Miami in front in the third quarter. And then on the Ole Miss side, Keywan Lacey, he had a solid game over 100 yards. He popped off for that one touchdown to begin the second quarter, but he did end up leaving the game after that with a hamstring injury. Did not play the rest of the second quarter. Barely used him in the third quarter. Before the fourth quarter, they really gave him more of the ball, and it helped them because they scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. That fourth quarter was a great one for both teams. All right, we'll take a look at the scoring summary. That catch to Daquan Wright to put Ole Miss ahead with 3:13 to go. Then Carson Beck scrambles to score. And there were three lead changes, or I'm sorry, four lead changes in the final 7 minutes of the game. So it was a great one all around. And now Miami will go home to play in the national championship. And they will play the winner of this game tonight, which we will have on stream. And that is the Oregon Indiana game. That's going to be a good one for Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, two of the best quarterbacks in college football. Um, so I think this one should be. I think it'll be a competitive one. We know what happened earlier this season when Oregon went out to Eugene. Mendoza threw a pick six, and then Indiana ended up coming back in that game to win it. And they did a great job at doing that. Fernando Mendoza won the Heisman. Had a lot of great moments this season. I think he's probably going to be the number one pick to the Raiders in the NFL draft. But for me, I think the big challenge is trying to beat someone twice, and that's what Indiana has to do against this Oregon Ducks team. And for me, I think that Dan Lanning will make I think he'll make the right adjustments. That defense impressed me last week in the I think it was the Orange Bowl against Texas Tech, holding that high-flying Texas Tech offense to 0 points. And that was shocking to me because we know Texas Tech had a great offense this past season, and it just didn't work out for them in that bowl game. And Oregon defense forced. I'll have to look at the stats. I was on the call for that game on this channel, but let me check their turnovers. They dominated time possession, 18 minutes to 22 minutes. But Oregon forced four takeaways in that game from Texas Tech. So I think that's going to be the key if Oregon wants to win this game. Can their defense step up against Fernando Mendoza? After Mendoza put up 38 points, right now the favorite is Indiana by 3.5, and everybody's going to Indiana on the money line and on the spread. But for me, I think Oregon pulls it off. Like I said, Dan Lanning will make those adjustments, and Oregon will win this football game. And now we'll go to more coaches firing than the ones that we had. So we had seven head coaching, or I'm sorry, six head coaching vacancies before Tuesday. And then around Tuesday evening, around rush hour, we get the news that the Baltimore Ravens have dismissed John Harbaugh after 18 seasons. Now, to me, we knew it was a possibility. I honestly didn't think that we would see it happen. I mean, you had an 8-9 season this past season. You can blame injuries all you want, but Lamar came back in that game. Obviously, the last game of the season where their kicker, Tyler Loop, missed the field goal. I think it ultimately cost him his job, but I think his voice probably went stale in that building. 18 years is a long time for anything, and to be in one place that long is impressive. So we'll see what the Baltimore Ravens do with their head coaching search. I mean, now I think every head coaching vacancy they've contacted John Harbaugh. According to Schefter, after within 45 minutes, seven teams, maybe more, even the ones with a head coach, were thinking about going after Harbaugh. I think if I had a prediction, I think the best situation out of any head coaching vacancy would either be the New York Giants or the Atlanta Falcons. I'll start with the New York Giants first. You got Jackson Dart, incredible rookie season. Cam Scadaboo, great rookie season before he got hurt. Malik Neighbors, still a young second year player who's he got hurt, torn ACL early in the season, but I think with him, with those three guys, you got a good offense to work with. And there are things to clean up. Abdul Carter, we'll see how he can be how he can do uh with that New York Giants team. He didn't have the best rookie season. Obviously, there was him falling asleep in meetings. That's a whole other thing. Hopefully, hopefully he can be a good player next year and mature. Dexter Lawrence on that defense, I think will need to step up. They got talent on that team. Even though they've not had the best record the past few years, they still got talent. They just had a poor head coach in Brian Daboll. So yeah, I think Harbaugh's that's the best landing spot. Atlanta is another one because they finished off the season with a four-game win streak. It ultimately didn't save Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot, but I think with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, the quarterback's a little bit of a question. Michael Penix showed signs of being a franchise quarterback, but in my opinion, going out for with that ACL injury, I don't think he's going to be right to start the season next year. So I think if you're trying to move off that Kirk Cousins contract, you might want to do that because you don't really know. Actually, I'll take that back. You may need him ultimately to start the season if you don't have Michael Penix Jr. I think I think this is Michael Penix's fifth season-ending injury or fifth season-ending surgery that he had. So, and I think that's dating back to his college days. So he had a healthy run going to the national championship with them back in 23. And then 24, he sat behind Cousins start the season, got into to action. Then ultimately this year tearing his ACL. I think he's fragile at this point. I don't think he's a long-term answer in my opinion. And then speaking of coaches firing, yesterday morning we got news that Stephen Ross and the Miami Dolphins have fired Mike McDaniel. Now immediately when he got fired, I said, you know what that means? John Harbaugh is probably the front runner for that job. And of course, John Harbaugh is the front runner for every job at this point. Now Mike McDaniel, he ended his Miami tenure with a 500 record exactly and did not get into the playoffs this year or the previous 2 years after making it the first 3 years of his career. but his tenure ends in Miami on a whimper. I mean, you got Tua Tagovailoa to play better in 23, 22, and 23. Made him look like an MVP candidate at times. Tyreek Hill really helped that offense. Obviously, he gets hurt this season, and yeah, I think we'll see what happens with him. In my opinion, or actually, I'll make this point first. His job was to get the whole team to elevate. I think he got what he could out of Tua Tagovailoa, and that's why he's benched and probably not going to play for the Dolphins ever again. But he's a good offensive coordinator, in my opinion. He was good with the Niners with Brock Purdy, or I'm sorry, he wasn't with Brock Purdy then. He did with Jimmy Garoppolo as an offensive coordinator, made him look like a great quarterback, and he was good with with the Niner system. I mean, he should probably go back to Kyle Shanahan and that San Francisco 49ers team because I think he'll get hired instantly as an OC. But he's just not a leader of men, in my opinion. I've seen his press conference, his press conferences. We all have. We knew there wasn't much fire from him, and obviously we don't know what it is behind the scenes that he is. But when I see him, he doesn't give me much confidence as a head coach. I think he's. I don't think he has much confidence in what he's saying. He's just letting it flow as it goes, sort of say. And I think that's why ultimately he's not the head coach of the Dolphins anymore. But with those coaches fired, let's get into our preview. Game of the week in the playoffs, it's Packers Bears. Bear down, baby. Packers Bears part three, the final revenge. Now we split with the Packers in the regular season. We lost them by 7 against Green Bay, beat them in overtime in Chicago after that incredible onside kick recovery. Went to overtime. DJ Moore got the ball off the deep pass by Caleb Williams, and the rest is history. So we did end up losing 2 games in a row after that against the Niners and against the Lions at home. But I think this is a game the Bears have a great chance to win. I got the utmost confidence in them to win. Here's why. The run game for the Green Bay Packers is one of the weakest in the league. When they got Micah Parsons, they traded away Kenny Clark, their plug in the D line. So, and we ended up running the ball well against them the previous 2 games. Of course, in the second half of the game in Green Bay, it helped a lot. But this time around, I think the Packers have lost their last 4 games. They rested their starters, so they're really missing Micah Parsons. They have not won a game with him out of the lineup yet. So Caleb Williams needs in this game needs to take care of the football, and he's done that, barring that one interception that he had against Detroit, which I think DJ Moore kind of lost his footing, and yeah, he just didn't get wasn't able to get it. It ended up being picked deep downfield, but I think you force turnovers. You got to limit. I think the defense will be the biggest thing for the Bears. Can you stop the explosive plays? Against Detroit on third down, they couldn't get off the field. Couldn't get off the field and it kept costing them. Can the defense step up here for Chicago? Against the Lions, they let a lot of explosive plays go. And also these slow starts. We cannot come out flat. I repeat, we cannot come out flat against this Packers team. So we got to take the ball away. We we made sure we did that. when we play them and actually score on these turnovers. Don't get one turnover, be satisfied, then punt it away. Go down the field and score. That's the big thing. I think if you get on them early, we could put them away. And that's the main thing. So that's the preview for that. Let's go to the rest of the playoffs. We'll have most of them except that Bears Packers game, which I won't be on stream for that. I'll be at Friendly Confines in Winter Park watching that one. But we got the Panthers and Rams. I don't think this is going to be the blowout that people think. I think the Panthers will make it close. I'll save my picks for the end of it, but I think it's going to be a closer game than 10.5, which the Rams are favored. Buffalo and Jacksonville, Josh Allen needs to win this game. You got no Mahomes, you got no Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. This is your time to win the AFC and possibly win a Super Bowl. And it starts Sunday in Jacksonville. Can they get it done? That's the main question. San Francisco, Philadelphia rematch of the NFC Championship in 2022. Can that Eagles defense shut down Brock Purdy in the Broncos offense? They've been hot lately, barring that Seattle game, which they only scored three at home. San Francisco scored 42 points against the Bears, 49 against the Colts on the road. So we'll see how McCaffrey and that offense can really set the tone. I think that'll be the key for whoever wins that game. The Chargers and New England Patriots, Drake May making his playoff debut. Mike Vrabel in his first season. I think he'll probably be coach of the year. But the main question here is, can Justin Herbert get it done in the playoffs? He's always done well in the regular season. Obviously, he's had injuries on his offensive line this season, but I think if Khalil Mack can get to Drake May, and this is the biggest test for New England of the season. They barely had any big tests throughout the regular season. In fact, a stat was sent to me that the Patriots were 1-2 against teams that were above 500. I always say this, you cannot control who you play on your schedule. You play who you play and you try to win. And that's what happened to the Patriots. That's how they're 14-3 and got the 2 seed. So that's the thing. Can Trayvon Henderson turn it up? Because I think they're going back to that point where the Patriots, I think their biggest win was against Baltimore in a do or die game for the Ravens. They ended up getting it done, and they won that game on the road in Baltimore. Then finally, our Monday night game, Houston against Pittsburgh. I mean, we thought that a lot of people think Houston's going to run away with this game on the road. And in fact, I think CJ Stroud has had a playoff win in each of his first 2 years, which is amazing in my opinion. But can they get past Aaron Rodgers in this defense? Or, in this Pittsburgh offense? I mean, the Steelers are a weird team to me. They can be explosive at times, but their defense can suffer. TJ Watt, I think he's back from that punctured lung incident. So we'll see how it all fares out. Before we get into our playoff predictions, let's go into some other headlines. Obviously, a big one. Trae Young traded to the Wizards. I was actually live streaming that, doing an NBA doubleheader, which unfortunately we had to take down because it wasn't processing. And I wanted the live stream of the Fiesta Bowl to be processed first. So ultimately, we had to take it down. Not what we want. And then staying in the NBA, the Heat Bulls game was postponed last night due to court conditions. Too much condensation on the court. Apparently, they weren't prepared for an unseasonably warm 50 degrees in Chicago in January. So, and they had a hockey game there the night before with the Blackhawks. So they were well unprepared prepared for that changing over the court, so that game's postponed. In college football and NIL saga, Damon Williams Jr., the Washington quarterback, will stay with the Huskies after entering the transfer portal. Previously agreed to a contract, but then entered the portal anyway. There was going to be some lawsuits. His agent fired him. It's a whole mess there. And then gold medalist Chloe Kim injured her shoulder. Gold medalist snowboarder Chloe Kim injured her shoulder ahead of the Winter Olympics, which I believe are less than a month away. So hopefully she'll be back for that. And now we come to our playoff predictions. So I'll go game by game. Get the get my predictions. So here we go. Also, this game is the playoff bracket challenge. Join our Threes Crowd group. I'll put that link in the description below. So, let's start with the NFC side of the bracket. Panthers and Rams. I'm picking the Rams, but I think it's going to be a closer game than people expect. I mean, the Panthers beat the Rams in the regular season, so when they played each other, and the game is in Charlotte again. So I'm taking the Rams here. Bears Packers. Obviously, there's no way I'm picking the Packers over the Bears. Give me the Bears winning that one. The 49ers and Eagles. If San Francisco's offense can get going, the Niners win this game. I'm taking them over Philly. To the AFC side now, the Texans and Steelers. And I'm going to give CJ Stroud his annual playoff win over Aaron Rodgers, sending him into retirement. The Jaguars and Bills. This is a tough game to pick for me. The Jaguars, 6 games, won in a row. They went to Denver, beat them in the regular season. They look good right now, but I think Josh Allen's desperation is gonna be the reason why they win this game. And I'm taking Buffalo on the road. And the Patriots and Chargers, in my opinion, the Patriots I think could have a solid case to win this game. And they're hosting, they're the 2 seed. Yeah, it's gonna be the Patriots. The divisional round will go to the NFC. This is where the Seahawks come into equation. They'll rematch in week 18 and week 1 playing the San Francisco 49ers. And in this game, I think Seattle has the blueprint. I think they're going to win this game over the San Francisco 49ers. The Bears and Rams at Soldier Field, the second game hosted at Soldier Field for the playoffs. And the Rams are a good team, high flying offense, but we've seen in games they're vulnerable. Stafford can turn the ball over at times. And I think if and we saw what in the Falcons game, I'll use that as an example. Bijan Robinson getting the ball and having a big game on the ground. If the Bears can do that, I think they pull this one out. Give me the Bears over the Rams going to the NFC Championship. AFC divisional round. Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos at home taking on Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. And like I said, this is a pressure year for Buffalo if they want to make a run in the playoffs. Like I said, no Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson. And I think if he can get past that defense of the Broncos, I think they win. But it's going to be a low scoring game, in my opinion. The Bills just win. And the Patriots hosting the Houston Texans. Houston's defense is pretty good, but I think Drake May's offense is better. Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, feed them the ball. They go to the AFC Championship. So we'll start in the order of the games that'll be played. We'll start with the AFC Championship. It'll be hosted in Foxborough, a rematch, Buffalo and New England. I think this is where the run for the Bills will come to an end. We've seen how New England can beat Buffalo, and they've done that. I think they win this one, go to the Super Bowl. And now my Bears travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. This is going to be the toughest game of the season for the Chicago Bears. But If you can run the ball in this team and pass when needed, I think that Seattle's defense is great. I think, in my opinion, they have one of the best defenses in the league. They're starting to get hot. And will we see that same Sam Darnold performance in the playoffs? If we see that, the Bears win the NFC and go to Santa Clara for a rematch of Super Bowl 20 in Super Bowl 60. I have the Patriots and Bears. And you know what? We're taking it. I'm calling it right now. The Bears will win the Super Bowl. Have a great playoffs. The Bears are winning the Super Bowl. That'll do it for today's episode. We'll be on stream later tonight. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Another episode will be on Monday. Peach Bowl stream tonight. NFL playoff stream Sunday and Monday night. And anyways, thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.